Here is exactly how the ASE certification tests work and how to pass them in just a few minutes. ASE is the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence, and its certification is the recognized credential for automotive technicians in the United States. But it is not one big exam. The Automobile and Light Truck program is a series of separate tests, taken one at a time, each computer delivered, multiple choice, and written to a published task list. Pass A1 through A8, and you earn Master Automobile Technician status. Here is the format, straight from ASE's official 2026 study guide. Most of these tests run 75 minutes. A1 engine repair and A5 brakes are 55 questions. A8 engine performance is 60. A4 suspension and steering is the short one, 50 questions in 60 minutes. And A6 electrical is the long one, 60 questions in 90 minutes. But look closer at those numbers, because this is the part most study guides never mention. On A5 brakes, 55 questions appear on your screen, and only 45 of them are scored. Every ASE certification test carries 10 extra questions that ASE is trying out for use on future tests, and they do not count toward your result. You are never told which 10 they are. So there is no such thing as a question worth skipping, and a question that feels oddly worded may simply be one of the 10. Answer every single one. So what score do you need? The honest answer is that ASE does not publish a percentage cut score. Your result comes back as pass or fail, measured against a standard set by a panel of working technicians. What ASE does give you is a score report broken out by task area, which is exactly the map you need if you have to retake. As a practical target, be scoring comfortably above 70% on practice tests before you register. And passing the test is only half of the credential. ASE also requires documented hands-on work experience, generally about 2 years of full-time experience, though relevant training can substitute for part of it. You do not have to wait to test, though. If you pass first, ASE records the result as test passed and converts it to full certification once your experience is approved. And certification is not permanent. Credentials are valid for 5 years, and then with a shorter test. Which test should you take first? The one that matches the work you already do every day, because shop experience is worth more than extra study time. For most general service technicians, that means A5 brakes or A6 electrical. Leave A8 engine performance for later. It is widely considered the hardest of the series because it combines sensors, fuel, ignition, emission controls, and scan tool diagnosis in one test. Now, where are the points? Every ASE test specification tells you how many questions come from each content area, so the task list doubles as a study schedule. On A5 brakes, hydraulics, power assist, and parking brakes alone are 43% of the test, 19 of the 45 scored questions. On A6, body electrical is 34%. On A8, computerized engine controls are 26%. Study in that order. And here is the single most useful thing to understand about ASE questions. They are diagnosis questions, not part name questions. You are usually handed a symptom plus a test result and asked what it means or what to check next. That is why memorizing torque values and clearances is a poor use of your study time. They vary by vehicle, and the tested point is almost always that you look the value up in the service information. 2 question formats cause most of the lost points, and both of them are really tests of careful reading. The first is Technician A. Technician B, you are given 2 independent statements, and you answer a only, B only, both, or neither. Read each statement on its own and decide true or false before you look at the answer choices, or you will drift toward whichever technician sounds more confident. The second is the accept question, or the least likely question, where 3 of the answers are correct, and you are hunting the one that is not. Find that negative word before you read the choices. 3 real questions. First, a vehicle has a growling noise from the front that gets louder during a left turn and quieter during a right turn. What is the most likely cause? A worn right front wheel bearing. Turning left shifts the vehicle's weight onto the right side, so the bearing that gets noisier is the one on the outside of the turn. Second, After machining, a brake rotor measures thinner than the minimum discard thickness cast into it. What is the correct course of action? Replace the rotor. There is no way to adjust around it. Not thicker pads, not matching the other side by machining it too. Below the discard specification, that part is finished. Third, with the brake pedal pressed and the stop lamps commanded on, a meter connected across the two terminals of the brake lamp switch reads 12.5 volts. What does that tell you? The switch contacts are open, so no current is reaching the lamps. Voltage across a device means the circuit is broken there. A closed switch that is passing current would read close to zero. So how do you prepare? 4 habits. First, study the task list for the exact test you registered for. ASE writes every question against it, and it tells you how many questions come from each area, so it is both your syllabus and your schedule. Work through it honestly and mark every task one of 3 ways. I can do it and explain it. I can do it but could not explain it. Or I have not done it. That middle category is where technicians lose points. Then drill practice tests until you are consistently well above 70%. Second, memorize the concepts that do not vary by vehicle. Ohm's law and how series and parallel circuits behave. What camber, caster, and toe each do, and the tire wear pattern each one produces. Why moisture in brake fluid lowers its boiling point. And how to read short-term and long-term fuel trim together. Numbers that live in a service manual are lookups. These are knowledge. Third, keep a log of every question you miss, and note which task area it came from. Your real score report is broken out by task area, so you are building the same map ASE will hand you, and you can redrill only the areas that are genuinely weak. Fourth, slow down on those 2 trick formats. That is a habit rather than knowledge. The wrong answers are deliberately written to sound like something a good technician would say, so an answer sounding right is not evidence that it is the one being asked for. So remember, ASE is a series of tests, not one exam, and A1 through A8 earns you Master Automobile Technician. 10 questions on every certification test are unscored, and you are never told which, so answer them all. There is no published percentage to pass, so aim well above 70 in practice. You also need about 2 years of documented experience, and certification expires after 5 years. And above all, the questions test diagnosis, not part names. Start now with free ASE practice questions at .com/en/ASE. English, Chinese, and Spanish with no sign-up.